Hello and welcome back to My Dad's a Lawyer, podcast about life, law, and other stuff. I'm Noah Mittman, son and a lawyer.
And I'm Brian Mittman, dad and a lawyer. Well, hello, Noah.
What's going on? Go Birds!
Oh, yeah. So we are recording on a Sunday, and it is an important Sunday because it is conference final weekend in the NFL. So the Birds are playing the Commanders, and hopefully when you see this, we will be talking about the Super Bowl and not a super loss.
Yes. Big game for the Eagles today, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can pull it off.
Yeah, we're excited. It's actually going to be an exciting time, and you got Buffalo and the Chiefs playing, so I'm rooting there for Buffalo. Hey, Stella, welcome to the podcast.
She always makes an appearance.
Well, if you don't get a cookie while you're podcasting, then what type of podcaster are you?
Oh, she's a great podcaster.
She is. Okay, so it's a Super Bowl playoff day, and if we don't advance, I'm not going to use the L word. If we don't advance, at least I have a box I bought at where I get my hair cut. They do a big...
Oh, for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they actually do 2 Super Bowl boxes. So I went in, I see this gigantic board, and I don't go to a barbershop. I go to a salon. I mean, There's like a bunch of ladies and gray hairs, and the main one is filled, completely filled. And that was $100 a box.
Wow.
I was like, wow, what type of clientele? So I ended up doing a box for 50. So
okay.
We'll see. So, hey, fingers crossed. You
got some skin in the game.
Oh, yeah.
I got to find some boxes to do. I usually do a couple.
And speaking of skin in the game and some big news, this is a proud dad moment. Because although my dad is a lawyer, my son is now a partner. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I got the news about a week ago from my boss, who's now my partner. And big things to come. Very excited.
It is very exciting. So, now that you're a partner, I just want you to understand that not only do you get the recognition for being a partner and all the good stuff, you also get to deal with all the crap. So welcome on board.
I know. A lot more responsibility.
Awesome. Yeah, fantastic. All right, so I have an old guy question for you. It's more of I just want to get your thought on this. So back in the day, when the internet was younger, there was this thing called MySpace, and everyone had to have a MySpace. It was when Facebook was a wee bit of a baby out there and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, Facebook came along, some other things, and MySpace kind of went away. It still exists out there for a small group of people, something like that. So, prior to the recent inauguration, there was a bipartisan bill to ban the app TikTok. And for those that are completely under a rock, it's a little app that has these little videos and people post on it, and a lot of people make a lot of money doing it, whatever it is. There's talk now about maybe not banning TikTok or this or that, but what is your opinion as growing up in the social media age as to if TikTok went away? Do you really give a crap?
Well, personally, I don't. I don't use TikTok. I go on Instagram for all my reels and videos and all of that stuff. It's interesting because on one hand, the ban was enforced because of what they called national security. They, thought China was getting all this information and influencing people and this and that. But on the other hand, like you mentioned, a lot of people make a lot of money off of it, and it's their livelihood. The thing is, and I thought about this, I don't think banning TikTok is going to change anything with the whole national security, because this thing has so many different apps owned by so many different people. I can't even imagine what other apps are, what they say as bad as TikTok in terms of the national security threat. I mean, there's so many other apps. They want TikTok sold to an American investor. But what about all these other apps that have, owners from other countries that could either get your data or
Well,
influence you in your opinions and stuff like that?
who's behind the American investors? I
Right.
can tell you now that investing isn't like I'm only an American, I'm only using my money. It's you're connected globally. It
Right.
really, from that perspective, it seems ridiculous. I think a national security issue is important for the entire internet, for everything.
Exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
was getting to, because there's so much other apps and websites and stuff out there that people could hack your computer from and get your personal information from. I mean, there's so many other apps and websites like that. I think they're just targeting TikTok because it's so popular.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see what happens. I mean, I don't use TikTok either, so whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not going to worry about it. Um, which brings me to, as you know, I do some different business meetings, really about business development, marketing, and I was recently in Scottsdale, Arizona, for the Maximum Lawyer Guild event, and we had this amazing day about artificial intelligence, AI, and stuff. But it's so much more. I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, and how that impacts the law, how that's going to impact our lives. But before we begin, I just want to um, follow up on something you just did. So you just flashed your phone like this, right? Okay. Do you ever wonder how it knows you're taking steps or where you are? There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of sensors inside this phone. Okay. So this guy, Dr. Keen Elliott, he's a legal futurist for a company called Filevine. So he kind of tries to figure out what's next, what's going on, how to
Right.
use things, whatever. And he's like a crazy mad genius. So he's telling us a story that he was skiing, and a family, right? This husband, wife, and a younger kid who obviously were pretty new to skiing couldn't quite stop. And he had somehow lost his ski, and he was standing there trying to put his binding back on. And mom runs into him. Dad runs into her. Kid runs into him. All three of them hit him.
Oh my
He
gosh.
he was fine. They actually became friends, whatever. But this is how crazy he is. So just to test the theory about this phone, he went back to the office. He had the developer help him, and they kind of hacked it. They got the sensor data, and you could see the exact moment he got hit by all three people where
Wow.
the phone shook, went back and forth, went back and forth, went back and forth.
Wow.
Now, he couldn't, you couldn't tell that he had been hit by skiers or anything like that,
Right.
but there's actual data in real time to show that the phone moved in a way that it shouldn't move if a person's just skiing or walking.
That's cool.
And the reason he brought this story up was he goes, imagine how that will impact lawsuits for injuries in the future. Hey, I fell down the stairs. Did you really?
Right.
Right? If they could pull data, even though it can't tell you that you fell down the stairs, the data could show you that your phone was literally tumbling
Yeah.
or had weird things. You can use it for good and for bad, right? To disprove, oh, you never had an accident, or prove,
Right. You had one. And also thinking, I mean, maybe based, I don't know what the sensor tells you or what the data shows, but let's say the force of the impact. Maybe, if the force of the impact was really light, maybe the phone sensors don't pick up much. But if it was a heavy impact, maybe the sensors or the charts, going crazy and shows a heavy impact.
he says it easily will show you traveling 50 miles an hour and all of a sudden not traveling 50 miles an hour
Wow.
in a matter of seconds.
Wow.
And you drop your phone, it knows you've dropped your phone.
Right.
That's how, like, it is absolutely mind boggling. So, all right, so to continue on this path, so that was just a really cool thing. So one of the first things that happened when I landed in Phoenix was I rent a car, And even that was really cool. I rented it through this app, and like I got a one of these electric cars, so I had to go to the car. I held up my photo ID and a picture of me in front of the car with the license plate, and then they remotely unlocked it, and the
That's
key like
crazy.
was like inside. I was like, whoa.
That's cool.
So yeah, so that was really cool. But I leave the airport and I see this car that looks like one of those Google cars that does the Google Maps. It has like crap all over it to take pictures of all the
Yeah.
roadways and everything. I was like, oh, that's really cool. You know, you don't see it too often, but then I started seeing more and more and more and more. Phoenix is one of 3 cities that has Waymo, Waymo, which is robot taxis. Whoa.
That's cool.
Now, I didn't take a ride in a robot taxi. My friend did, and he did the video of it. But just driving down the street, pulling up to a red light and looking at the car next to
No
you,
one's in the car.
and there's nobody in
No
the front.
driver.
And then the light changes and it starts making a left turn, and you see the steering wheel turning.
That's
Now,
unreal.
if you think about it, you don't need a steering wheel. I mean,
Right.
I think the rules around it are that you're doing it for a lot of different reasons, but blew my mind. And like I saw them like pulling up the red lights, stopping when somebody was crossing the street, like changing lanes. It is mind-boggling.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's all about the experience too. Like, so my friend who took the ride said you get the app, you tell them, hey, you know, I'm traveling, whatever, pick me up in Stanford, I gotta get to White Plains. And it does all different things, right? The safety features, like it won't unlock until you're next to the car with your phone, or you can leave it to not unlock and you press the button to unlock the car. You can change the color of the dome on top, have your initials
Really?
on it so that you can see, oh, that's my car. You know,
That's
crap
cool.
like that. Yeah, it's a little freaky too, because I'm sure there are accidents or near misses or just weird stuff. But that is the power of computing today. It's just
That's really cool.
my body. So let's talk a little bit about what is artificial intelligence and where we are just for a second. So we have all heard about ChatGPT. Everybody's tried it. You throw it in there, gives you some good stuff. So there's what they call generative artificial intelligence that will generate stuff. There's artificial intelligence that can analyze stuff and pull things out for you, things like that. So there's a lot of potential that's already being used in the world, particularly starting to be used in the legal world. So, for instance, we can take 5,000 pages of medical and ask the AI, whatever program we use, to summarize it, to give us a chronology, to pull things out.
Can't wait for that.
Which really, is going to help us figure out what we
Yeah.
have, what we don't have, right? The insurance companies are using it already. Really cool things like that. But there's, also so much more. So, we've seen the movie Terminator. Everyone's afraid of, all this stuff. So the current goal of AI is to get to what is known as general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, AGI. That is where the AI is basically kind of smarter or equivalent of a human,
Right.
and can really get a lot of stuff done. And then there's super intelligence down the road. So this is how fast this is moving. I'm going to blow your mind on this.
Okay.
So in 2023 or 2024, ChatGPT 4.0 came out. Then in the summer of, I think, August of 24, so only a few months back, 4.01 came out, and 4.01 mini, and like they have a couple versions of it. And that took ChatGPT from being like a kindergartner to being in high school.
Okay.
Right? From an intelligence, reading comprehension, writing stuff, all that. In December, they launched 4.03. Now they skipped 02. This is a funny story because somebody already has it as a intellectual property. So they'll go, okay, screw it, we'll just skip it. 3 and 3 Mini takes you from, there's a test out there, that an independent company that tests all the ChatGPT models for basically intelligence to see if it'll get to as a portion of what they call artificial general intelligence. So 4.0 was at like a 15 to 20%, maybe.
Okay.
3 is already in the 70 to high 70s%. So we're there. We are there. So the nature of how we work and what we do is going to change. So, for instance, as a partner in a law firm, it's going to help you greatly, help me greatly. It may mean we need less associates, or it may mean we need more focused associates. It's all about how you can leverage this to do the most and the best. One of the biggest, I think, impacts is going to be on communication with clients. Not talking automatic communication, but clients like to talk to us.
Yes.
They want to come in, they want to speak to their attorney. And if I'm spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day talking to clients and not doing the legal work, what happens?
You get behind in your work.
Right. So imagine being able to get a lot of the legal work done in a snap, yet spending your time talking to your client about strategy or just reassuring them or things that we need, or, hey, you told me you have this problem. Well, I reviewed the medical, and the only mention about that problem was one time a year ago.
Right.
Oh, it's a different doctor. Oh, thank you for telling me. Right. Stuff like that. So it's really, really cool.
Huh. I'm sure it would be a big help in the legal research too. I know right now, obviously the famous, it's now well known that infamous, he used the ChatGPT to write a motion and it was citing all these wrong cases. So, people are hesitant to use it. But I saw an interesting post the other day by an attorney friend of mine who was saying that he will take a PDF version of, let's say, a practice book where it has, the updated cases and the new cases for the year, new decisions, stuff like that. He'll upload the PDF to like a ChatGPT, and he will tell it to only derive its answers from that document, cite the page number, cite the case, cite everything, so he could go back and cross-reference it and make sure it's correct. So you run that, you ask it a question, pulls cases and quotations and citations only from that PDF. So you know that you're getting accurate information and real cases, and it's not just searching Google for BS cases.
So there's open and closed. So almost all the stuff that you get now as an attorney or an insurance company or a doctor, it's going to be on a closed system, and meaning it helps cut down on what they call hallucinations. That's what that other GPT model did. It just kind of made shit up.
Right.
And yeah, I have a friend who took the entire workers' compensation statute, uploaded it.
Wow.
And is asking questions against it now. I recently created, you can create your own, if you get like the paid version, you can create your own GPTs. So I created,
thinking about getting it.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it. I created one for my newsletter. And what I did was I went in and I tell it all these like parameters. I uploaded about 3 years worth of newsletters. I did.
Wow.
I talked about the values of the firm, the things we try to do, and all that. And then what I do for my monthly, for instance, to help me along is I'll do a prompt. Now, people think a prompt is like, hey, what is the name of the first president?
Right.
Prompts could be pages upon pages long.
I know.
Right?
I know.
So I put in a prompt and I'll say, hey, this month is January. These are some of the things we're thinking about. And these are articles we've written for the newsletter and this and that. And I go on and on. I said, and I would like to have something that talks about A, B, and C in my voice based upon the samples in this GPT.
Wow.
And it's getting better and better.
And every time you do it, it gets better and it learns and it grows and it understands what you want.
In fact, what I did, what I haven't done yet, I want to do is I'll go in and then I'll edit it.
Right.
I should be loading up the edits to say, here's an edited version of what you did. Keep it for your records.
Yes.
Right? So,
wow.
And, it's not cheating. It's creative. It helps me move things along. Imagine applying that again to legal stuff.
Wow. I'm curious. I want to pick your brain about that because one of my new jobs as partner is implementing the newsletter again.
Okay, so let's talk about real quick this other really cool thing that the legal futurist did. There's a GPT program out there that is focused really on doing coding for websites and stuff like that. So he went in and with a page long prompt basically said, I am starting a law firm. We're going to do personal injury. We want to develop social media. What should it asked all these things, and please create an app, a program that does this. So he puts it in, and under 5 minutes, it produces the code. He clicks it, it opens it up. Now, you never want to publish this to the real world because there are safety issues. Like you have to have a real developer actually come in to make sure that there's security and cybersecurity and all that. But it comes up and it says things like, oh, in the world of social media, you should be posting on these 5 main sites as a lawyer, and you would want to get 20% return on investment and spend this amount of money. Like it went through all the stuff. And then basically it had an area for a prompt. And you would put in e-bike accident in New York City when a cab ran through the red light.
Right.
And it created posts for like all 5 social medias. And you got to go in, you have to tweak it, you have to whatever. But this is a tool that, again, why do we do what we do? Right? We want to have a good life. We want to help people. But you don't want to spend 80 hours a week working.
Right.
Can you imagine spending 20, 30 hours a week working and doing really, really, really good work, yet, not being burdened by all that crap?
I mean, similar to what you were saying with the newsletter and the prompts, we at the office, I was like, I need some sort of guidance in terms of the social media posting, what to post, when to post, how to post. So I ran like a 2-3 paragraph prompt into ChatGPT, and I now have like an 8 to 10 page social media marketing guide with examples of posts, all this stuff. So now we could take that and make our posts.
In fact, one of the things I did at the meeting, this business meeting I went to, I came back. I uploaded, I had record. So you have what's called a hot seat where you spend 45 minutes and you present a problem to the group.
Okay.
And they give you their input. So I presented a problem, input. I took some notes, but you're actively
listening.
busy.
Yeah.
I took the transcript, I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I said, okay, I was at a business meeting. This is what's going on. These are the 3 things that I thought happened. However, could you go through? Could you summarize? Could you do this? It came back with a 3-page summary, a breakdown. I then went through it to make sure there was inconsistencies, right? But instead of being, 0% done and I have to rewrite my notes on the airplane on the way home, I was already 70% done, and now I could really tweak it so that I came back Monday, I hit the ground running.
Wow. That's really cool. The AI stuff is very interesting.
And again, this is, folks that are listening, this is just a very, very limited little thing in the world of law. Think about it for every single thing you do. From medicine to grocery store shopping, there are some serious legal ramifications, right? As lawyers, we should be letting our clients know that we have them agree in our retainers that they agree to us using properly vetted AI. Right.
Especially with the medical record stuff.
You don't want to load up PII, protected information. So there's a lot of different things that go on, but the world is here. I don't care what you think outside. It's more than here.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years, there's going to be things going on that are going to just blow our minds.
Yep.
Blow our minds. So, So that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't think we had that much planned to talk about AI, but we ended up filling an entire episode with it.
I have a feeling we're going to have a whole bunch of episodes down the road
Yes.
talking about some specific things or whatever it might be.
Course.
So I also wanted to check in on you. How you doing on your 2025 New Year's resolutions? Because
we said 2024. I thought maybe we were reviewing our resolutions. So, personally, I was doing a dry January where I don't drink alcohol for January, but I got named partner, so I wanted to celebrate a little bit, so I broke that. However, I have been keeping my diet and fitness in line, and I think that I have had great results in the last month. So I'm going to keep that going for the rest of the year and see how that goes. Been very happy with that. Best I've looked and felt in a probably about 2 years.
That's great.
So that's personal and fitness. Work wise, resolution. I feel like I had the same resolution last year and I didn't really keep up with it. But I wanted to really work on my marketing and networking for developing cases and streamlining the process, implementing more AI stuff into that. So, I don't necessarily have to be doing every little thing for my posting and stuff like that. Just being smart about it. And yeah, I think that's the main thing that I want to focus on for this year, because getting those cases and getting my own sources for cases is important, especially as a partner now.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And now's the time where most people's have stopped following the resolutions 3 weeks into the new year.
Right.
Pretty darn amazing.
Yeah. I will say a lot of people have those fitness, like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym for, my resolution. The gym hasn't been that crowded when I'm there. So I've been happy about that.
Yeah, no, that falls off very quickly.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So you were laughing when I put this on the in the news or something weird. I didn't want to get political. And it was inauguration week, so I was like, I need to know something, just like weird stuff about politics or some crap like that. So when I kind of put that in, just the bizarrest fact came up about the first president to wear trousers or pants at an inauguration. And I'm like, what? But it turns out that John Quincy Adams, our 6th president, was the first president to wear long trousers instead of knee breeches in March of 1825 when that was the original inauguration dates. So everybody before that wore the colonial short pantses, the knee breeches with the socks that come up to your knees, like baseball players. And I was like, okay. And also of real interest was he did not take the oath of office on a Bible. As it turns out,
laws or something?
Yep, a book of law, the actual congressional statutes. And they say that if you read the Constitution, there's nothing that says you have to be sworn in on a Bible. It's a tradition. George Washington had a Bible. Biden had a Bible that went back in his family over 120 years. Obama used 2 Bibles. George H.W. used 2 Bibles. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt used nothing. So I just thought it was like, to me, that's like kind of really cool stuff. Like, especially when you hear, when you watch TikTok or, some video where they say, oh, this is what it is. It's like, no, this is a tradition, but it's not necessarily what it is. I just thought the thing about the pants was hysterical.
I know. I wonder, let's see. I'll just look it up. I would have thought that maybe John Quincy Adams would use the same Bible that his dad used to be sworn in, but I guess not.
Yeah, was it his dad or his cousin?
John Adams.
John Adams, yeah.
Yeah, that's his. I think John Quincy Adams was his son.
Interestingly, he was the first president to get his oath of office from the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Who, John Adams or John Quincy Adams?
John Adams.
Oh.
And I believe the same Chief Justice gave John Quincy Adams his oath of office.
This always piques my interest, like looking at the history of presidents and all that cool stuff that goes into it. And then maybe that would be my New Year's resolution, to become an expert on the history of the presidents of the United States.
Nice. Well, that's a band also. That's like a '90s
Oh, really?
called Presidents of the United States. You would know some of the songs. Lump. Lump said da 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 da. Anyway, sorry. All right,
The Presidents of the United States of America rock band.
Yeah. So I'll play it for you when you come over for the Eagles game today.
Yes.
All right.
Go Birds.
Let's go Birds.
Fly, and, Eagles, fly.
The next, I have a prediction. Our next recording is going to be a pre-Eagles Super Bowl recording.
Yes.
So let's go.
Go Birds. Right. And you can all follow me at You Know a Lawyer on all social media platforms.
And you can follow me at The Disability Guys on all social media platforms. And have an awesome day.